April Fool's Day, also called All Fool's Day, in most countries the first day of April. It received its name from the custom of playing practical jokes on this day. For example, telling friends that their shoelaces are untied, or sending them on so-called fool's errands. Hi there everyone, I'm Mohammed Najmi, and today I have for you a short episode about April Fool's Day. So let's get straight to it. Yay! Some historians speculate that April Fool's Day dates back to 16th century, when France switched from the Julian calendar to the Georgian calendar, officially with the Edict of Rousson, promulgated in August 1564. People who were slow to get the news or failed to recognize that the start of the new year had moved to January 1st and continued to celebrate it during the last week of March through April the 1st became the butt of jokes and hoaxes. These pranks included having paper fish placed on their backs and being referred to as Poisson d'Avril, meaning April fish, said to symbolize a young, easily hooked fish and a gullible person. Others have suggested that the timing of the day may be related to vernal equinox or first day of spring in the northern hemisphere, where Mother Nature fooled people with changing unpredictable weather. Historians have also linked April Fool's Day to festivals such as Hilaria, Latin for joyful, which was celebrated in ancient Rome at the end of March by followers of the cult of Cybele. It involved people dressing up in disguises and mocking fellow citizens and even magistrates, and was said to be inspired by the Egyptian legend of Isis, Osiris and Seth. So the origins remain a mystery as such, but by most sources, on April the 1st, 1700, at the start of the 18th century, English pranksters began popularizing the annual tradition of April Fool's Day by playing practical jokes on each other, and the tradition spread throughout Britain. For example, in Scotland, the tradition became a two-day event, starting with hunting the gowk, in which people were sent on phony errands. Gowk is a word for cuckoo bird, a symbol for fool, and followed by Tail Day, which involved pranks played on people's derrieres, such as pinning fake tails or kick me signs on them. So, let me tell you about 5 amusing pranks, 5 of the best I have come across ever pulled. Number 1. National Geographic in 2016 surprised the world when it announced via Twitter that National Geographic would no longer be publishing photographs of naked animals. The media group says that it will no longer degrade animals by showing photos of them without clothes. Readers who clicked through to the story were greeted with April Fools and a gallery of adorably dressed puppies and kittens. Number 2. In 1905, the Berliner Tageblatt, a German newspaper, reported that thieves had dug a tunnel underneath the US Federal Treasury in Washington, D.C. and stolen America's silver and gold. Now, this was before US built its bullion depository in Fort Knox, Kentucky. So, the Berliner Tageblatt said the heist was organized by American robber barons whose burglars dug the tunnel over 3 years and made away with over $268 million, and that US authorities were trying to hunt down the thieves while publicly covering up the fact that the country had been robbed. The story quickly spread through European newspapers before people realized that it was an April Fool's Day prank by Louis Verac, a New York correspondent for the Berliner Tageblatt who published the joke article under a false name. Number 3. One of the most famous April Fool's Day pranks of all time is the BBC's famous Spaghetti Harvest segment. on April the 1st, 1957. A news broadcaster told his British audience that Ticino, a Swiss region near the Italian border, had an exceptionally heavy spaghetti crop that year. The camera cut to footage of people picking spaghetti off of trees and bushes, then sitting down at a table to eat some of their real homegrown spaghetti. At the time, spaghetti wasn't necessarily a dish that British people would have known about that much. That doesn't mean that no one realized the segment was a prank. Some viewers were upset the BBC had aired a fictional segment during a serious news program. But other viewers reportedly asked about how they could grow their own spaghetti at home. Number 4. In 1959, students in Sao Paulo, Brazil, who were tired of the city's overflowing sewers and inflated prices, launched a campaign to elect a rhinoceros to the city council, and won. The rhino's name was Cacareco, which in Portuguese means rubbish, and she was already a popular figure in Sao Paulo when the students launched her campaign. The 4-year-old had moved to the city from Rio de Janeiro when Sao Paulo Zoo opened and was scheduled to return to Rio soon. When the students looked at the 540 candidates vying for Sao Paulo's 45 city council seats and feared that none of them would address the city's problems, they decided to make a point by asking people to vote for the popular rhino instead. Cacareco won a city council seat with a staggering 100,000 votes, far more than any other candidate. The closest runner-up got about 10,000. Imagine that. Of course, she didn't end up serving on the city council because the election board disqualified her for being a rhinoceros, but she remains one of the most famous protest votes in Brazil. Number 5 and the last one. In January of 1749, London newspapers advertised that in an upcoming show, a man would squeeze his entire body into a wine bottle and then sing while inside of it. The ad promised that during his stay in the bottle, any person may handle it and see plainly that it does not exceed a common tavern bottle. The ad promised the show would feature other tricks as well, including communicating with the dead. Legend has it that the ad was the result of a bet between Duke of Portland and Earl of Chesterfield. Reportedly, the Duke bet that he could advertise something impossible and still find fools enough in London to fill a playhouse and pay handsomely for the privilege of being there. And apparently, he was right. The night of the show, every seat in the house was filled, but no performer obviously showed up. Realizing they had been duped, the audience rioted. Okay, that's all I have for you today. There are many more elaborate April Fool's pranks which have been played over the years. If you know of some, please share them in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please share it with others. And if you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, I would greatly appreciate if you do so. Until next time, take care, be good, and thank you so much for listening.